Sir, a lot has been discussed in this debate, and we spent almost 220 minutes plus, as close to almost touching 4 hours to actually debate. And while we were debating, most were questions. So as you are aware, sir, that answers are longer than questions normally. So if 4 hours were used for asking questions, I may require about 8 hours to reply to all of them. But that is the complexity of the situation, and hence I understand that we will not be able to stay for that long. And I'm sure that the honorable members will also understand if I am not able to touch on every single aspect of the discussions that took place. So before I start, I would also like to mention that a lot of the members had raised points that some important issues and topics were not mentioned in the governor's address. Hence, I would like to clarify that it is always not possible for us to incorporate every single issue or aspect that is there. Sometimes some issues are already have been mentioned earlier, and hence they are continuous. Therefore, it is not mentioned again in the governor's address. In some cases, some actions have been taken, and hence we're waiting for response. Hence, those also are not mentioned. And sometimes specific issues that are more specific in terms of an area-wise or region-wise or constituency-wise, we may not be able to mention all of them. But while we do that, it does not mean that those issues are not important. Every single issue is important, and it is the responsibility and duty of this House and the honorable members to ensure that we discuss all of them in as micro detail as possible and try to do justice in terms of being able to resolve the concerns and problems that the honorable members have mentioned. Sir, there will not be any proper structured manner in which I will be able to approach my reply, but I will try to touch on the more generic issues that have been mentioned by the honorable members. Sir, a large number of members had shown a lot of concern about the border issue. And we heard a large number of members, including our honorable member from Meghalaya constituency, and other members, including the member who had initiated the amendment motion, Dr. Celestian, honorable member from Umsning, and many other members had mentioned about the issues and the border area and how the government intends to proceed with this border talks. Sir, I would like to just mention here that this border issue, as we are aware, has been there for 50 years since the state was born. And this problem has been faced by multiple governments in the past. And because of this issue, the people living in the border areas, especially in the areas of differences, have faced a large number of challenges. Lives have been lost, and people had to live in a lot of fear and had to face a lot of difficult challenges in the past many years. And that is the primary reason why, as a government, MDA 1, we were very, very clear in our minds that we would move towards finding a solution to this long pending issue. And while I say that, I repeat my stand which I had from day one, that this is a problem so complex that we may never be able to find a perfect solution that we would want. There may not be a situation where we'll be able to make everybody satisfied with the kind of solution we come out with. But at the end of the day, we need to find a solution. It may not be a perfect solution, but let us move towards the best possible solution, as what has been our stand from day one. And therefore, we started off by discussing and saying that let us not start our discussion from a position or from a point of a position. And the position being that this area is ours or this area is theirs, or we will not give an inch of our land. These are different areas of positions that we hold. We have realized that negotiations cannot take place with a position that you maintain. It has to be placed on the basis of the interest of the two stakeholders, the interest of the different stakeholders within the two states, and the overall interest of all the public at large. And therefore, we need to realize that which solution will be able to provide and will be able to protect the interest of the different stakeholders. And hence, that is what our approach had been from day one. And while we started moving forward, we realized that keeping the people at the core of all this discussion, ensuring that the people's will is something that we move forward with, had been one of the basic foundations on which our discussion started. And hence, when we started the discussion for the first phase, both sides, that is the Assam government and the Meghalaya government, after going ahead with extensive consultation at different levels, more than 27 meetings were held with the public, with the chief ministers, with the different organizations, different civil society, and micro meetings at different village levels. There were unlimited meetings that took place. And hence, a very aggressive exercise was put into place. And it is only after taking the will of the people in our minds and in the entire process that we were able to move forward in the discussion. Sir, here I must also clarify, and here I am not again saying it for the sake of argument or for the sake of blaming anybody or trying to find out an excuse. But I'm trying to give you the factual position and the House the factual position so that we understand where we are moving forward with. Now, sir, the reports that were submitted in terms of the areas of differences, this report was made way before our government started the discussion, which is the MDA-1 started the discussion. And the then government in 2011-12 had come out with a report mentioning the areas of differences. And hence, that became the sacred document on the basis of which we negotiated. It was very difficult for this government or for any government to change the stand of that sacred document of the areas of differences which were created. So whatever was mentioned in that document as facts was the basis of our discussion, and it was very difficult for us to delete or to add anything more to that particular document. So without going into the details of what the document had or did not have, I think it's important to understand that the continuous process of governance is something that we can't change. Government of Meghalaya 2011 submitted that report. Government of Meghalaya 2018 continued working on that report. So therefore, there is no change in that, and hence the report that was submitted, in whatever way it was submitted, became the basis of our negotiations and basis of our discussion. And in those areas, in fact, one of the members had mentioned about Maikuli. So Maikuli was very much mentioned within that particular areas of differences. The villages which were under the areas of difference were mentioned. Specifically mentioning about this particular football field or this particular pond or this particular graveyard, these were not mentioned in that specific document. And hence, when these kind of situations arise, it does become difficult for us to go into micro detailing and say, well, did you mean this or did you not mean this? And hence, we have to sometimes, while we're discussing and negotiating, we have to work as per the situation that we face in that moment. And in that moment, there was a very serious matter and a discussion regarding the cemetery out there that a lot of people were very concerned. And I'm happy to inform that we were able to discuss with the government of Assam. And we were able to say that the cemetery, which is, of course, a Christian burial ground, and therefore the question of this being in Assam is slightly, the probability is lesser, and hence it should be something that should be in a state which is predominantly Christian society, and hence it should be in Meghalaya. And based on that argument, we were able to move forward with the discussion. And there were football fields also out there that came into discussion, and of course the pond also came into discussion. So what I'm trying to tell you, sir, is that there is no SOP that we can follow when these negotiations take place. There is no a proper systematic way in which discussions take place. These are matters of very complex nature, where we need to sometimes go with the situation that is at hand and look at the larger goal of resolving the border issue, or else we would see things just lying where they are. And hence, that is the purpose with which we had moved forward. And in the next phase also, as the honorable members have mentioned, we will take every single stakeholder into confidence. There is no question of not engaging with the stakeholders. I'm not saying that we'll be able to agree to everything that every stakeholder says, but the voice and the concerns of the stakeholders will be heard. But ultimately, a decision will have to be made on how we move forward, because an issue like this, as I said, is so complex that we will not be able to find a perfect solution. But we will work towards ensuring that we are able to find an amicable solution, the best possible solution in which the maximum advantage should come to the state of Meghalaya, with the larger goal of ensuring that the people living in these areas of differences should not suffer, and we should not lose any more precious lives in the days to come, sir. So therefore, I also would like to inform the House that we have recently reconstituted the committees, the regional committees, and I have the list here with me, but I guess it'll take time for me to read out all the names. But the new committees have been set up, and we are hopeful that post the assembly session, we will be starting our communication with Government of Assam in order to initiate the discussions further on the border issue, as has been promised to the people of the state, sir. So we also had a lot of our friends and our colleagues and the honorable members from this House had mentioned about the drug menace. And as mentioned by them, right, very correctly, that we have really taken this matter up very seriously. And in the past few years, we have seen that a large number of cases have been filed. In fact, almost 726 cases have been registered, and close to 1,330 people have been arrested in these cases of drug and narcotic peddling that is taking place, the trafficking. And as was mentioned by some of the members, that we are not having strict rules and regulations in some cases, where we are not able to keep them and detain these individuals involved in these different activities for long. Sir, I'm happy to inform the House that the Home Department is moving for prevention of illicit traffic in Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act. And once this act is put into place, this will ensure that there are very strict measures under which drug peddlers will be booked, and hence the concerns of the citizens of the state and also the people, the members of this House will also be addressed from that point of view. So this is a very important point. And there were also points regarding the rehabilitation centers, and yes, sir, that is a very, very positive suggestion. In fact, we are discussing with the different NGOs and different organizations that are running these kind of rehabilitation centers on how the government can work along with them and give them the necessary support and infrastructure and financial support, so that they're able to run the rehabilitation in a better manner. We are of the strong opinion that we need to involve the civil society in these particular programs, especially the church and different NGOs that have been working for a long time in the rehabilitation processes. And hence, that is something that we'll be very actively pursuing, sir. So there was also a concern by some of the members saying that the drugs were caught, but why can't the police be more vigilant on the illegal transportations that are supposedly taking place. And I would like to inform that in the last many years, almost 1,701 cases have been registered against illegal transportation, and almost close to 203 cases have been registered in regards to illegal mining. So hence, it's not that things are not happening when it involves other activities also. The police is doing its job in all the activities. But we must also realize that there are efforts that are going on, and at the same time, there are already systems that are there where the Government of India, the Supreme Court and Coal India has prescribed certain ways of auctioning and transporting of coal to the tune of 32 lakhs, for which the auctioning has happened and is going to continue to take place. And therefore, we must realize that every single truck that moves is not that it's an illegal truck. We tend to look at a truck, and every time we see a truck, we just simply think that everything is illegal. It's not that way, sir. I think it's important to understand that yes, there could be some people who are trying to get into these activities. The police has been very strict. As I said, almost 2,000 cases, whether it's in transportation or illegal mining, have been registered. But there are a large number of vehicles that move with proper documentation, and the police department has been told specifically that they should ensure that proper vigilance is maintained and all these areas of concerns are addressed as we move along, sir. One of the members had requested and asked for the revenue that has been collected in the last year. I do not have the breakup with me, sir, but overall from the non-tax revenue, an amount of 230 crores was collected last year. The breakup is being collected by the concerned department. Sir, we had also some members who had mentioned about the different works going on in the agriculture department. And though it's a very, very broad topic and a big area which will require a lot of time to get into, but I'll just touch on a few points mentioned by the members themselves. And they had mentioned about the fact that if we could increase the production of products like lakadong, turmeric, and also possibly if we could, why we have not been able to set up processing plants. So I would like to inform the House and the Honorable Member that 15 units of slicing, washing and grinding units for lakadong turmeric, which are run completely on solar power, have already been set up by this government. In fact, all these units are run by women's self-help groups. And we have also put up a unit for curcumin extraction unit, which is functional right now. It may not be the top of the line in terms of technology because the investments are very high, but we have made local arrangements with smaller technology providers, and we are able to now extract curcumin also from the turmeric very much within our state, and in fact within Luskin area, and the curcumin does not, or the turmeric does not have to be sent outside the state. So hence, like that, even in ginger or even in banana, even in other products, similar processes where we are adding value to the products that we have is being done at a very, very large scale. In fact, in Umdiar, in the constituency, that was mentioned by one of the local MLAs, I'm not sure whether it was Umsning or Nongpo who had mentioned this, but in Umdiar, we have set up a prime unit. And prime unit, sir, as you know, is the entrepreneurship center that we have, where it's an incubation center which not only provides training to the entrepreneurs, but we also have equipments there that help in production, in processing, in packaging. So this is a multi-purpose center, and this is being put up in Umdiar, and as mentioned by the members, we will be having more of these centers coming up. In fact, we have close to 50 prime hubs and centers coming out throughout the state, because we strongly feel that combination of entrepreneurship with value addition and a self-help group movement and a cooperative movement, if we can connect these dots and allow and give the necessary framework, necessary infrastructure, and the necessary training to our youngsters and to the women folk, I am very confident that we will see this kind of a silent revolution in terms of value addition that will take place. And today, these 15 units of Lakadong turmeric which is being processed, they are today processing the products, and you'll be happy to know, sir, that they are exporting the products all the way to US, to Dubai, to Japan, and to the European nations. So our products are reaching in different parts of the world. Because of the mission mode approach of ours, we have increased the production more than 10 times in terms of Lakadong, and we intend to increase that even further to almost 50,000 metric tons in terms of the production of Lakadong, because we strongly feel that this is an area which we have a USP in, and we feel that we can easily move forward in this line, sir. So I also would like to share with the honorable members, some had mentioned about the old age pension and had raised concerns that why this has been stopped. So I would like to inform the House and the honorable member that the old age pension has not been stopped. It is in fact continuing. In fact, I would like to inform the member that we have enhanced it from 6,000 rupees now to 9,000 rupees. So it's no longer 500 rupees per month, but every member who deserves to get this scheme is getting 750 rupees, not 500, but 750 rupees. So in the past government, in MDA 1, we had enhanced this old age pension by 250 rupees, and today, annually, each of these members gets 9,000 rupees. And what is more important to note, sir, is that we have been working towards ensuring that not only should they get the money, but they should get the money on time. And this has been one very, very important area of concern for our government. And for the last 5 years, we've been working meticulously to ensure that this money reaches our people on time. Now, this is not just for the old age pension, but it is also for, say, the master rolls. You see, sometimes they used to get the salary after 9 months, 6 months, 1 year. So we made it a point that the money should be sent in advance to the concerned departments, so that the old age pension, the master roll, and all these other individuals who are there, who are not getting the money on time, should get the funds on time. So our efforts will be doubled in the next coming months and years to ensure that how we could make sure that the old age pension reaches the desired beneficiary on time, and hopefully, so I don't want to give too many details because we are still working on it, but I thought that it'll be fair enough to just share a small idea. We are even working on a model right now so that these old and our senior citizens do not even have to leave their house to get the benefit of this old age pension. So I don't want to share too many details, but we are in the process of working out a mechanism where these funds will be delivered at the doorstep of these senior citizens on time, sir. And we are working on this for many of the schemes. We strongly feel that the delivery mechanism must improve. Why should our citizens have to take the trouble every time to go to the bank? Why can't we find a system where the banks or the banking correspondents or government department or officials can come to their house and give them the benefit that they deserve? These are being still worked out, sir, so I will not be able to give the details right now, but this is the line in which we are working for the future, sir. So some of the members had mentioned about the ASHA workers, sir. And just to give an idea, sir, to everybody, that the ASHAs, as of today, on an average, sir, I'm not saying everybody, on an average, each ASHA worker receives about 6,000 rupees to 7,500 rupees per month. That's the kind of funds that they are getting based on all the incentive. I understand one of the members had mentioned and given detail about the different processes that are followed and how it's difficult for them. They get 150 rupees for attending one meeting, then 300 rupees for attending another meeting, and in case the officer concerned is not there, then they don't get it. So we have tried to ensure that with the use of technology, we are able to minimize the inconvenience that are caused to these ASHA workers. So now, sir, today updation that takes place regarding the incentives is done online. And the process, which used to take sometimes 5-6 months to almost 8-9 months, today is being done in matter of days, in matter of weeks. In fact, that means about anything between 7 days to 10 days. We are seeing that most of the Ashas today are being able to upload their incentive programs and get the benefit without having to go through the hassle of physically going to these programs and spending months and months trying to get this money. So this has been done, and we will take the suggestions that have been given by the honorable members in a positive way, and we will see on how we could improve that. I also heard one of the members mention about some of the equipments not working well. I have not received that complaint personally, and neither have my officers heard about it. But since this has been mentioned by one of the honorable members, we will definitely get the matter examined and see why, or is it true if the machines are not up to the mark. Of course, we cannot give the best of the best smartphones, which sometimes some of the members expect, because obviously the financial implications are high. But we ensure that the equipments given are of a certain standard so that it works properly. And just to share, sir, with the honorable members on how we have given importance to the Ashas. In the previous government, sir, in 2013 to 2018, 10 crores was released to the Ashas. 10 crores in 5 years' time. That means on average 2 crores per year was released to the Asha workers between 2013 and 2018. But during the MDA-1 government, between 2018 and 2023, 80 crores was released to the Asha workers. 80 crores, sir. And this 80 crores includes the amount that was due of the past government also. And I'm not here to compare or try to blame or trying to say that we paid and the others don't pay. But what is important to understand is that we care about the Asha workers. We realized that even the past dues are dues that they genuinely deserve. And therefore, we cleared the dues which were ours in the sense that of the 2018 to 2023 in terms of the MDA government, and we released the dues which were there pending from almost 2013 to 2017. In between, only 10 crores was released. So that is the kind of importance that we're giving to the Ashas, and in many areas we have even enhanced some of the amounts that have to be given to the Asha workers. Sir, when it comes to JJM, a lot of members have mentioned about different issues that are there. And let me also just put things in perspective, sir. Number one, sir, JJM program is a massive program. We have almost 6,500 crores of projects that are going to be implemented in our state, sir. Almost 6.5 lakh villages will be covered. 6.5 lakh households, will be covered under this scheme. And what is more important to understand is that we not only do we have to cover these households, we have to cover it within a limited time. And we started off at a very, very low number. Meghalaya was one of the worst in the whole country. We had only 4,550 households that had this connection to pipe water. And therefore, we were below 1%. We were at 0.75% coverage. And hence, we had a huge task ahead of us to achieve the goal before the rest of the country, number one, and that too being the bottom, we had to climb up to the top. And hence started a very, very long and difficult journey where PHE department, which was in fact one of the least active departments, I should say, sir. I'm not blaming them, but due to financial constraints, due to projects not being sanctioned, the PHE department was not really an active department as one would want it to be. And hence, here you are, having a very bad performance. You are ranked the lowest in the country. You have a huge target of 6.5 lakh households. You have 6,500 crores of projects to be implemented. You have a PHA department and a team that has not been as active as you would want it to be, and hence the machinery is not really working so efficiently. And you have to complete the project before the rest of the country finishes. So in that scenario, the way the PHE department works is something that you must give credit to. This cannot happen because the chief minister wants it or the department or the minister wants it, sir. This happens because the department and the officials and the engineers start to believe that they can actually do it. When they start to realize that we have to work in a mission mode and what we are doing today is going to transform the lives of the people. It is this change in the mindset of the officials of the PHE department that we were able to almost touch 3 lakh households in a matter of 3 years, sir. And I was mentioning earlier in the day, we are the only state that has received the bonus for 3 years consecutively, which means that the budget that the government of India had given to us, this budget, we were one of the few states in the first year that exhausted the budget. We completed the work, and then we went back to Government of India. Government of India again gave us 300, 500 crores more because we did good work. And like that, some states got it in the first year, some states got it in the second year, some states got it in the third year. Meghalaya is the only state that got it in all the 3 years. And so this speaks volumes of the work that we have done. I take this opportunity to congratulate, in fact, our former PHE minister, Mr. Rennington, because he has been the person who drove this entire process. And that's why we are doing well. Now, while we do all these programs, sir, I do agree that everything will not go perfect. And yes, there could be some programs and areas where the supply has gone short, sir. There is, it's something that it's not surprising as such because it's such a huge project. And hence, there could be 20–30% of the cases where the projects is not going as per plan, the water supply is not sufficient, the source is not sufficient. There could be, sir. But that does not mean that the project in its all totality has completely flopped. That would not be correct to assess, sir. There are challenges, there will always be challenges. We need to overcome them, we need to figure out how to move forward. If there's a problem, sit down, work with the officials, work with the public, and move forward. And while we do that, sir, I would like to also share that all these JJM schemes and programs are very much bottom-top approach, sir. It's not from top to bottom, sir. What we have is, we have what we call the Village Water and Sanitation Committee. These are village communities who actually manage the JJM programs in every village. It is this community which is headed by the local people, which is made up by the local people. They are the ones who propose the program and scheme. They are the ones who go and help the engineers to find out where the source is. They are the ones who help the engineers in the department to then finally come out with the entire program and then move forward. So it would be incorrect to say that this is a top-bottom approach. It is absolutely not. It is exactly what the Honorable Member had mentioned. It should be a bottom-up approach, and this program is very much a bottom-up approach, which is that the Village Water and Sanitation Committee is the core committee made up by the villagers who propose and then give the ideas and work with the engineers to come out with the program. Another thing, sir, JJM implementation is very, very stringent. Now, Government of India will not give the funds or will not release money unless there's a third-party quality assurance or a quality study has been done, an audit, quality audit has been done. Till then, the funds are not released from government. So therefore, this is a very strict mechanism. Third-party independent people come, they check the programs, they check the implementation, and only after this third-party audit is done on terms of quality, only then are the funds released. So therefore, this is a very tight scheme, and because Government of Meghalaya and especially the PH department has done so much of work in this area that we are today one of the best performing states. We had been given a target to complete the scheme by 2022, which is almost next to impossible, but we took up the challenge. We felt that raising the bar would only make us work harder, and we have done that. We were not able to meet the 2022 target. It does not mean that we have fallen short, because we were the only state in the country which was given 2022 as the target. Otherwise, the target for the country is 2024. So now we are at 2023. I expect that we are going to reach very close to becoming 100% within this financial year. This means the next financial year. I'm not saying that we 100% can, because it's a steep target. We have almost 50%, 54% still left. And these are very, very challenging areas. But we are really working hard to ensure that we are able to move forward in this. So there was certain concerns about commerce and trade, especially when it came to trade with Bangladesh and the creation of different border huts in different areas. I would like to share, sir, that we have in fact already processed, and work in 3 border huts is going on as we speak, and we have proposed another 16 new border huts along the Bangladesh border, because we strongly feel also that trade with Bangladesh is one of the key areas and ways in which we can increase the overall GSDP and our export levels, and in turn we are able to provide the necessary employment and economic benefit to the people of our states. So there was a concern regarding the CRPC being imposed on the district councils and the fact that the state government is reducing the powers of the district council. So I would like to take this opportunity to clarify to the House and to the respected member that in no way has government of Meghalaya encroached upon the powers of the district council, sir. We had almost 5 rounds of meetings with the district council before we went ahead with this. But I would like to take this opportunity to clarify to the people of the state that when this entire issue of CRPC notification that came out, it was very, very specifically mentioned in that notification that the district council courts shall continue to derive powers under para 4 and 5 of the 6th schedule to the Constitution of India, which means in no way would the state government reduce the powers or take away the powers of the district council. So one has to understand in this entire process why this had to be done, sir. Sir, when the judiciary and the executive was segregated, at that point in time, sir, the powers were given to the ADCs, which is the Deputy Commissioner and the ADC Judiciary, which means the executive, sir. And hence, when the executive and the judiciary were divided and separated, there were no provisions in the law and no system in our state through which the judicial officer, which is no longer the ADC Judiciary, because the executive has been segregated from the judiciary. And hence, the judicial magistrate was not able to draw powers in order to be able to give bail or do any of the acts which already was being done by the ADC Judiciary. But since the division took place and separation took place between executive and judiciary, we had to give the necessary powers to the judicial magistrate now, who is no longer an ADC Judiciary, and who was drawing powers which now they would draw if we were to extend the CRPC. And that was the only purpose, nothing more than that. And hence, we could have continued just with the ADC Judiciary, but that would then mean that the court would come in and they say, on what basis is a judicial magistrate exercising the powers? On what basis is a judicial magistrate giving different bails? And that is the reason why what the powers that were already being drawn by the ADC Judiciary, which is the executive, and after the segregation, the judicial magistrate was functioning, we only ensured that that part was regularized, nothing more than that. So hence, in short, nothing changed. The powers of district council remained where they are, except now what the judiciary was, the ADC Judiciary was doing, who was part of the executive, now will be done by the judicial magistrate. Otherwise, the judicial magistrate would be of no use. They would have no work to do, they would just simply have to be removed. So it was simply a process of actually regularizing things, and there was no intention, and clearly, as I said in the notification, we mentioned that the district council courts shall continue to derive power under para 4 and 5 of the 6th schedule of the Constitution. And there was no, and clear messaging and discussion was done with the district councils that there will be no interference from the state government in that matter. And hence, this should not be misinterpreted. And I hope that this clarity is there. In regards to the different acts and the different bills that have been sent to the state government, I'm sure, so the procedures are being followed. I can vaguely remember he mentioned that it was put up in July 2022. So I'm sure that maybe the departments are still examining it. As you're aware, when a law comes in, it is sent to the concerned departments, then the legal department also goes through it, the AG goes through it. All these processes do take some time, but I can assure the member that whatever is within the law and within the constitutional framework, and whichever bills are there which are not in contradiction with any of the state or central laws, we will ensure that we expedite the process and ensure that these are put forward, sir. So in regards to the material components of the MG and REGS, so as you're aware, in 2017, the government of Meghalaya and the MG and REGS or the CNRD department had a rough budget of about 600 crores. That is the amount we spent under MG and REGS. In matter of 5 years, sir, because of the continuous monitoring and reporting and ensuring that each VEC works in the maximum efficient manner, we were able to increase our expenditure from 600 crores in 2017 to 1,800 crores almost. That means triple, almost 3 times more the budget and expenditure in matter of 5 years' time. Now, sir, this means that obviously all the procedure and the aspect of getting the utilization certificates and all these areas, it took time, sir. So while the wages were being given, immediately as the money came in, we released the wages, we had some challenges with material. We are not denying it, sir. But it happened because suddenly we were hit with such large demand, which was only 700, 600 crores in 2017, and suddenly we have to manage 1,800 crores. And hence these challenges were not easy for us to overcome. We are smoothing out the process. We have received funds in the past for the material. We have immediately cleared it, and we are pushing Government of India for the next lot. And I've taken a note of this entire issue that has been mentioned by the honorable members, and we will ensure that we expedite the process of release of the material component for the MG and REGA scheme also, sir. So in terms of education, again, was a very important aspect. And here, sir, I would just like to take few minutes to mention about the importance of the education sector. And we realized in the past 5 years, sir, that education is most probably one of the most complex sectors and the most complex departments in our state. And it's not just complex because of the subject, but it is also complex because of the manner in which in the last many years, different systems were created to resolve certain problems in a piecemeal manner. And hence, while those steps were taken, different steps being put together just led to ultimately making the system even more complex. So in terms of the number of categories of teachers we have, in terms of numbers of schools that we have, in terms of numbers of teachers that we have, in terms of the schools where there are less students but more teachers, and some schools where there are more students and less teachers. So multiple issues like this have come up, and the education sector as a whole is a very complicated sector, sir. But in spite of that, we realize that we need to start somewhere. We may not be able to untie all the knots in one go, but even if we are slowly able to take out one knot at a time, maybe we'll be able to clear up the table and we'll be able to clear up the mess as the time goes forward. And hence, we started off with simple processes where we looked at how to ensure that the ad hoc teachers and the SSC teachers could be taken care of, how the trainings could be given to them, how rationalization of teachers and schools could take place, and so on and so forth. Many reforms were started. We came up with the policy at the first go. We ended up putting up the Education Commission because we realized that there needs to be a body that is going to monitor things and suggest things in a very professional way and in a very neutral manner and an apolitical manner. So we started looking at all these aspects, and the Education Commission also, the decision has been made, and of course, as suggested by members, we would want the best of the best educationists and reformists to be part of this particular Education Commission so that we are able to slowly and steadily resolve the issues. So while I say that we must understand there is no quick fix solution for education. It is too complex. And the complexity even grows bigger because there are political issues connected with this also. I have to be very frank in this house. So therefore, because of the sheer numbers and the different aspects that are there, different connections with society, it does affect the system as a whole. So therefore, all these complexities need to be taken into account while we try to resolve the issues of the teachers. Sir, I would like to here specifically mention that we need to segregate few things. Number one, sir, we need to realize that government, non-government teachers, and even deficit to a large extent, they are against a particular sanctioned post. And hence, the salary of these categories, so the government, the non-government, and the deficit, these three categories mainly. So they are against a sanctioned post, and hence the responsibility of the government to clear the salaries on time is paramount. Now, a lot of people then generalize and say teachers, and they bring ad hoc and SSA also. Sir, I'm not saying that it's not important for us to clear it. It is important for us to clear it. But it is also important for us to understand the difference between a government LP school and an ad hoc school, sir. So the ad hoc schools, sir, are run by managing committees. The grants that we give as a government is a grant that we give as addition to what they already receive. The responsibility of the government to pay the salaries is not on us, but on the managing committee. So we give the funds to the managing committees, and the managing committee then appoints also and disperses the salary, whether it's SSA or the ad hoc teachers. So while I'm saying that, I'm not trying to differentiate, sir. All teachers are teachers. All are important to us. We care about all of them. But while we discuss, we need to understand that they are in different categories, and the responsibilities to clear the salaries is directly for some teachers on the government and indirectly on the government for certain areas, for certain teachers, I'm sorry, and for ad hoc and SSA, as I said, the managing committee is who handles all of this. And the grants that we give to the managing committee, who then further give to the teachers. And hence, the members who are here must understand that this complexity needs to be put into perspective while we debate and while we discuss about this important issue. Having said that, of course, it is also my desire. In fact, why did we create the SSA fund, corpus fund, is because we realize that even though the responsibility to pay this is on the managing committee, and the Government of India funds need to come in on time to be able to pay the salaries for SSA teachers, because SSA is a Government of India program, and there is a certain percentage that state government contributes, but majorly the contribution comes from the central government. So what I'm saying is that even though the onus, in fact, is on the central government and the managing committees, but we as a government feel that it is not fair for us to not give the teachers, because it's not the teachers' fault at the end of the day. It may be the system's fault. It may be a systematic problem where the central government is delaying the funds and we're not able to give the money, but it's not the fault of the teacher. And hence, how can we work with the managing committees, with the central government, where maybe state government creates a corpus so that the salaries of the teachers can be paid on time, and then we can make up that money later on by taking the money which comes later on from the central government. So this matter of SSA specifically and ad hoc teachers needs to be understood so that we are able to then find solutions in the long run to be able to resolve the problems. Now, sir, also to give a perspective to all the House members, in education departments, sir, we have close to 15,000 institutions in our state, one of the highest in terms of the per capita. To give you a sense, Manipur, which is a state which is comparable to Meghalaya in terms of population and geographic area, has 4,000 institutions, schools, colleges, higher secondary, all of them, 4,000 to about 5,000. Meghalaya has 15,000. We have 50,000 teachers in different categories, whereas Manipur again has just 1/3 of them, sir. For example, in SSA, we have close to 12,000 teachers. Manipur has about 3,000 SSA teachers. So these are realities that we have to face. We have a very, very peculiar problem and challenge in the education department. But while saying that, we're not shying away from the problem. But I thought it is important that we share it and we inform the members so that while we discuss all these different issues through the different sessions, this basic idea should remain in the minds of the members. Sir, for the first time, the government of Meghalaya has finally repaired or started the process of repairing government LP schools, sir. We have 1,755 government LP schools in the state. And for 30, 40 years, these schools, some of these schools had never ever been repaired. Some of them are even without tin today, without windows, without doors. It is in the past government that we took a decision that either new buildings, for which we have done for about close to 400 schools, we have given a new building sanction, and so 200 plus 111 plus 117, so 400 plus schools, so we have given new buildings and upgradations, and for the rest of the schools, we have sanctioned money for basic repair, depending on the condition. Anything between 3 lakhs to about 8 lakh rupees per school has been given, so that at least the tins can be changed, the doors can be changed, and overall renovation can be done for this school. So this is again another very, very important step. For the first time in last 5 years, sir, the cess that was collected from mining, the mining cess was collected specifically for education purpose, sir. It was the education cess. But I would like to inform the House that even though the cess was meant for education, the money was never used for education in the past. It is only in this past government that for the first time the money and the purpose for which the cess was being collected, it was used for that purpose. So therefore, there was the MDA government that went into the details, saw that we are collecting education cess. We saw the numbers, comes up anything between 60, 70 crores to about 100 crores a year. We realized that if this money is there, let us spend it to build up the infrastructure in the government LP schools. And hence, this entire program and policy started. And I'm happy to see that we are finally seeing the results of all of that happening today, sir. So some of the members had mentioned about MCCL, sir. And I know that it is iconic, of course, you know, and a company in the sense that when there were no cement plants, MCCL was the one cement plant that we had, and it used to be one of the best cement plants. But sir, along the way, because of numerous challenges and the competition that started coming in, MCCL faced a lot of challenges, sir. And just to inform the House that even in the past, almost close to 300 crores was sanctioned even before our government came in to completely renovate and to redo and to restructure MCCL. And even after that money was spent, MCCL was not able to come up, sir. And even now, the proposal that is there in front of us is a mixed proposal. It's not complete in the sense there is much more to be done. So therefore, even after we were to invest this 200 crores, we don't know whether we'll be able to, for sure, go forward in this. So hence, we are facing a scenario where we are continuously putting in money and we are not being able to revive it. And hence, some decision has to be made as to how we move forward. Do we again spend another 200 crores and we hope that things will work out, which may or may not work out? And as I said, this is a autonomous kind of a body in the sense that it's a company and it has to manage things on its own. Hence, all these challenges and difficult situations were there, and hence we called up all the stakeholders. We must have had more than 4 or 5 meetings at my level, sir, and apart from that, at many different levels, many more meetings took place. And we tried to find out different ways and means and options to ensure that we'll be able to find the most amicable solution that is there, sir. And hence, in these situations, we need to also see things from a practical point of view. I don't think it'll be fair for us to compare and say that if we can spend on a mall an amount and not spend here, these are two different projects that are there. The viability of the mall project and the commercials that are there are different in nature, and the business is of a different nature. And all the due diligence has been done in those cases, and therefore it is a project that has come out with MTC. And it is not that the money has been pumped in by the government. It is an amount that the organization has taken on its own, and they will be servicing the loan at their own level. Whereas in MCCL, government will have to pump in equity of almost close to 200 crores, which again may not be enough to be able to turn around MCCL as such. Many challenges, sir. I'm not saying that only by getting third party is the only solution. We are examining all possible options. It is one of the bigger challenges we have, apart from MECL also, which is a huge challenge. We are working, sir, and we'll try to ensure that, like always, we take everybody on board and try to find out the best and the most amicable solution in this case also. So there was a concern regarding the CUET, and I would like to explain to everybody that number one, says the CUET exam is more like a qualification exam. What happens, for example, when you apply to universities outside? So you have to apply for, say, SAT exam, or a GMAT exam, or an LSAT exam. So when you apply for these exams, then these marks are then looked at by the concerned university while you apply. So are you going to be placed in a particular college or university based on this exam? Absolutely not. The colleges where you apply to, this particular test will only be another form of your aptitude, your capacity as individual, and it will allow the university to then compare you with the rest of the country. So it's like you could be have got 80%, 90% in your class 12 exams, and with the CUT, suppose you get 70, 80 marks in it, and if there's another student who got, say, 90 marks in that, it is the university or the college that will decide whether they would like to see the marks of the CUET on the basis of which they'll give admission, or they will go with the central, with the results that they got in the class 12. So it is only an addition to the overall marks that the student gets, and it does not determine the college in which you will get admission. I wanted to clarify that. So there's nothing to fear that based on this you will be suddenly put into Tamil Nadu University or you'll go to Bombay University. Absolutely not, sir. That's not the case. You will apply to the particular college or university, and based on that, these CUET exam marks will only be added to your overall marks, and then the university or college will decide on how to do. It's just a qualification kind of a test, but it standardizes all the students, because sometimes people come from different backgrounds of education. Some is coming from MBOS, somebody is applying from CBSE, some from ICSE. So it becomes difficult for colleges and universities to then gauge on the aptitude of a student. This CUET common test exam allows the universities to then gauge the aptitude of the person by kind of not being neutral in one way. So that's the background of the CUET. But more importantly, sir, the CUET process of exemption has already started for Meghalaya. We got exemption last year. We will get exemption this year also, I can assure the House, sir, because I've spoken to the Honorable Minister Education. He has assured me that the state of Meghalaya, the colleges which are affiliated to NEHU, not for NEHU courses. So anybody applying for NEHU courses, they have to go for the CUET exam. But in our state, because we did not have a state university, the colleges actually had to affiliate to NEHU. And hence, they had no option but to affiliate. So by default, even though you are from Nongtalang College and you have no intention to apply to NEHU, just because Nongtalang College is affiliated to NEHU, they would have to go for CUET, which is very inconvenient and actually not very practical and meaningless, because the student will apply in Nongtalang College only. But because there was no university of the state to which the college could apply to or affiliate to, they had to affiliate to NEHU. And since NEHU comes under central, obviously, university, the CUET applied there, and hence Nongtalang College also came under the purview of CUET. But now, with the exemption, all colleges who are affiliated to NEHU and those students who are applying for those colleges and not going to NEHU will be exempted from CUET for this year. Number one, sir. Number two, in order to ensure that in the future this problem does not continue, we have now broadened the Captain Williamson Sangma Technical University. And as you know, it's coming up in the House for discussion and for us to clear that bill and to make it an act, where we are now going to convert the Captain Williamson Sangma Technical University into a full-fledged university, which means once that is given, any college can then in the future affiliate to Captain Williamson Sangma University. They don't have to affiliate to NEHU anymore. And once they affiliate to Captain Williamson Sangma University, they don't have to apply for CUET. So in the future, even though Meghalaya will not be exempted, say next year, from CUET, by the time this year ends, we have to ensure that all our colleges affiliate to Captain Williamson Sangma University, and that is the permanent solution for us, where we will not be then under the purview of the CUET, sir. So that is one thing I wanted to also explain. Sir, there is, of course, many issues. So many members have mentioned about new CNRD blocks, new subdivisions, new districts. Yes, sir, it is always the endeavor of our government to ensure that we're able to provide the different administrative blocks and bring administration closer to the people. It's always been an endeavor, and we understand it is important. But obviously, sir, we have to look at many aspects of the practical approach to ensuring that the formation of the particular block or the district or subdivision is something where we can carry the rest of the population also along with us. We have to look at different aspects of financial impact. All of these aspects will be examined, and we will definitely look into all these areas for the new blocks that have been mentioned by many of the members. So some of the members mentioned about 8th schedule. Sir, you are aware that we have already passed a resolution, and continuously, sir, every time I go to Delhi and I meet different ministers, 8th schedule is something that I always mention, sir. It is not as simple. There are almost close to 40 different languages that have applied for the recognition, and Government of India is actively considering. There are a number of challenges, I'm sure, at the national level also, and I've shared it with different, the Khasi Authors Society and the Archaic Literature Society also, and discussed with them some matters, and we are examining on how we could improve our case, where we'll be able to apply, and we will be able to get the recognition under the 8th schedule. But as I said, sir, the efforts are on, and definitely it is one of a very important issue for us. Sir, apart from that, different members have brought in different issues. There was one issue regarding the elections, sir, that election was not to say that it was not conducted, but there were concerns raised by some of the members. So I just want to tell you and share with you that a total of 74.18 crores was seized during this election. 74.18 crores was seized by our administration during the course of this election. This is 20 times higher than the seizure that was made in 2018. So this is a reflection of the fact that there was a lot of effort on part of the government and the departments to ensure that none of these issues were left untouched, and this entire issue and concern of money power and all the other issues that were being raised. This is a clear example, sir, that we have done, and the administration, in fact, and the Election Commission has done a lot to ensure 20 times more collection than what was done, or seizure, I'm sorry, than what was done in 2018, sir. Sir, apart from that, I would love to go into points one by one. Let me assure you, sir, not just in the notes that have been prepared by my team, but at a personal level on my laptop, I have taken notes down of almost every point that has been mentioned by the different members. It will be impossible for me, sir, to go through all of them, except, sir, if you are going to give us dinner tonight here. If you're going to give dinner, sir, we can go for adjournment, and we can come back post dinner, sir. Please, but I'm sure that we will get another chance, an opportunity. We have the budget discussion also, and I'm sure that a lot of the members will further add different points. As I said, sir, all the members' points are mentioned out here, whether it's the request by Mr. Gavin for the constitution of a high-powered committee for education, and the fact that there is a frequent power supply issue in the rural areas. We have taken note of that. whether it's the hot springs resort that was mentioned by Mr. Wennington, or the road from Veloy to Mokurwat that was mentioned by him, or whether it was the wooden bridges to be converted into RCC by Mr. Lakshman Ramboi, or whether it was the fact that, this is important, sir, the 15th Finance Commission money to the district councils that was mentioned by Mr. Charles from Mohati. So we would like to share with him that, that the money, in fact, based on the Expenditure Department, Government of India, a committee had to be formed between the Health Department and the district councils. So that money has already been transferred to the Health Department, and now the district councils and the Health Department have to work together to ensure to implement this fund, sir. So the fund is not with finance anymore. It has been given to the concerned department as per the guidelines given by the Expenditure Department, Government of India. So these also areas are there which we are looking at. Mr. Methodius had mentioned about the IT interventions and to improve the overall connectivity. He mentioned about tourism. These areas, of course, are very important to us, sir, and we'll definitely look into it. There was a concern about journalists and their pension, since there are a lot of journalists still sitting here, so I think they'll be happy to know that we have already passed the decision, and the process is on now, and very shortly, sir, we should be coming out with that. And regarding the different payments, they are all aware, sir, that earlier the advertisement policy used to be department-wise, and hence every department had to raise the different the bills and everything of the different agencies. But now we have consolidated all of that and brought it under DIPR, sir. So this entire restructuring now will help, and they are also aware that we have come out with the policy for the advertisements, so the rates have been fixed now. So whether it's the print media or electronic media or the different social media platforms, all have got a certain slab which has been done in a very, very meticulous manner, and rates have been taken from throughout the country and averaged out so that proper rates are given to them. All of these aspects are being looked into, and as I said, sir, we're going into all of these issues that are there. Mr. Charles Pindrop had mentioned about the Umiam Bridge, so I just want to share with him, and obviously for all the commuters who travel every day on that bridge, that a safety audit was done in 2020. And in that safety audit, they have found that the vibrations are well within the limit, and there's nothing to worry. But definitely, sir, the point that mentioned by the honorable member is very, very important. So therefore, we will conduct another safety audit, and we'll make sure that all steps and measures are taken to ensure that these concerns are also addressed. I agree with the honorable member, sir. It is a lifeline for us. And obviously, it will be a huge problem if there's any danger, even if it 1% danger to the dam is something that we cannot take a chance with. So definitely, we will conduct another safety audit, and we will continue to do it on a regular basis so that people of the state and the commuters also feel safe, sir. So therefore, sir, I thank once again all the members. As I said, I have got an exhaustive reply to all the points, but I'll be happy to discuss with all the members at a personal level if they have any specific concerns and issues which need to be addressed at the earliest. And my office is always open for all the MLAs, whether it's the ruling side or the opposition side. We have no problem. So if any time any of the members have any issues, they are free to come to me or to any of the cabinet ministers to take up the issues. And at the same time, as I said, I have mentioned all the points out here, and we will definitely take the positive suggestions that have been given by the different members and try to improve on the overall working of the governance. I'm very happy today to see the kind of positive inputs and suggestions that came in. And this is really what, as I mentioned in the morning, the expectation of the people of the state is that now the members will work in a positive and constructive manner to ensure that we are able to take our beautiful state forward, sir. So with these few words and with these replies, I hope I've been able to satisfy the different concerns of the honorable members, sir. And with these few words and my submissions, I would like to resume my seat. Thank you very much, sir.